Assalamualaikum. Today we're going to present you about sustainable product construction and demolition waste. My name is Sheikh Amir Aizad bin Mutahidin and with Ali Fakri bin Alimuddin and Muhammad Muaz bin Borhain from EC1104I. Next. Introduction. Aggregates may be defined as the solid material contained in the concrete which play no part in the chemical reaction that cause the concrete set. There are two types of aggregate, which is fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Next. So the term of sustainable development is defined as the development that meets the need of present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their needs. Construction and demolition waste is construction and demolition waste is generated during the construction, renovation and demolition of building or structures. These waste include materials such as concrete, brick, wood and etc. Next. So the objective for the article 1 is to evaluate the possibility of developing a cement construction material with using construction waste as material, which is construction and demolition waste, CDW. The objective is to present the method of developing to prepare concrete using CDW and to present and discuss the result of experimental. Next. And for Article 2, the specific objective of this work are twofold: to investigate the sustainability of RCA for new concrete production by characterizing their physical and mechanical properties, and to evaluate the performance of concrete specimen which particularly employ RCA from workability, strength and permeability aspect. Next. For methodology, preparation of fresh concrete, for Article 1, the waste concrete elements are mechanically broken into small size pieces. The small pieces are further crushed into a small size pieces using crusher. After crushing, the different size fractions are screened using a severe machine and used as aggregate. The impurities present in CDW must be separated during the process. Next. For the Article 2, the NCA was crushed stone where the natural fine aggregate was river sand. The recycled coarse aggregate was obtained from demolished concrete which are used as a foundation for universal testing machine. The concrete waste was broken down into smaller parts using a sledgehammer. Okay. Next.
Here's the result from Article 1, Density and Specific Gravity. And this is the result from Article 2. Discussion. We discovered from Article 1 that CDW can be combined with sand, cement and water to make a concrete mix. But in Article 2, we discovered the coarse aggregate can be made from destroyed concrete that was utilized to build a new universal testing machine base. The article demonstrates the flaw as the experiment source conductor. The result in Article 1, the aggregate make up more than 75% of the volume of concrete mix. The characterization of quality of a new material to be used as aggregate must be carefully assessed owing to the fact that it is made up of many materials. From the result 2 is we determine it compacted loose condition, the shape and surface texture qualities of the used aggregate were determined in compliance with predefined features.
And so the question, how well each of the research work achieved their objective, were there any weaknesses? Based on the result that were shown, we can tell that the objectives were achieved. they managed to gather an accurate data by doing density tests. The density of CDW aggregate is seen to be lower than compared to the natural aggregates. These low density aggregates can be used to make a light concrete wake. Though light concrete wake has its advantage, there are some weaknesses to it too. Lightweight concrete are known to have the depth of carbonation that can cause corrosion nearly twice as much compared to normal concrete. And for Article 2, we can see that the objective is also achieved. We can see the difference in properties between RCA and the NCA. The test showed that RCA have lower mechanical and physical properties compared to NCA, but is still in a range of normal weight aggregate. Uh, this showed that it has less workability compared to the NCA aggregates. Though this thing can be fixed by mixturing a special mixture, which is known as fly ash, so it can increase its properties. Okay, Muaz. Okay, so for the second question, can you identify knowledge gaps that were still unsolved in the research, and what can be further improved? As we can see from the article, the knowledge gap that were still unsolved in the research are the outcome of the concrete mix from the alternative aggregates. By doing concrete mixture, we can test its workability by doing tests such as slump tests. By doing these tests, we can further improve our knowledge about this alternative aggregate and how we can improve it to be a better quality concrete mixture. Okay, next question. Okay, and so for the third question, what would you recommend for further works, and can you come up with new ideas or innovation? Okay, there is a lot of work that can be done to further improve the idea from this article. For example, the idea of using CDW and RCA as an alternative aggregate can be improved by increasing the quality of the aggregate. To do this, we can do heavy midah separation with magnetite suspension. Studies have shown that magnetite can improve the quality of CDW and RCA aggregates. With this, the concrete mixture that were made with the alternate aggregate can reach to an acceptable range of workability for structural purposes. And the idea that we came up to create another alternate aggregate is using shell of cockles. There is a lot of cockle shells that were left unused by the industrial service of frozen cockles. This shell can be crushed until it's become fine, so we can use it as an alternative aggregate. Okay, next. Okay, so the contribution. For the contribution for the article, yes, we can see by using alternate aggregate, we can save the environment because it reduces the usage of natural aggregates such as gravel, rock, and sand. The cost of using the alternate aggregate is also proved to be cheaper compared to using the natural aggregates. By using this, it's also reduced the waste from construction because this alternate aggregate is created by using recycled construction waste. And the concrete mixture that were created by this alternate aggregate is suitable to make partition walls and panel walls thanks to its lightweight. Next.
The conclusion. As conclusion for our research, the physical and mechanical property of RCA made from concrete waste were investigated and compared to those of the NCA used in the experiment. When compared, the NCA and the RCA has lower physical and mechanical qualities. The physical feature of the RCA, on the other hand, were typically found in normal weight aggregate in many circumstances. Due to the presence of mortar, the surface of CDW aggregate is rough and porous when compared to the natural aggregate. The form and flakiness in this size reported in the literature of various CDW aggregate are comparable to those of natural aggregate employed in this study. This is the reference.
That is all for our presentation. Thank you very much.